Alright, we're going to look at Wildcreek. This tower gets 12 supply per minute from the yak from Road Square. It just goes like this, then back, and then just keeps going like that. If you have stonemist castle, then the yak will go to Rogue Square. It'll continue on this path and go all the way to stonemist castle. That'll reduce the amount of supply per minute it gets to 7. That's for if the yak makes it every time without the double delivery upgrade going. Now we're going to look inside the tower and take a look at the design. The first thing we'll notice is that it's tough to treb from your own keep. It's tough to treb the gate for defense, that is. Because if you look at the design, the gate's right here. If you have a treb over there, you can still reach it. But the problem is, well, it's not really a problem, because this actually kind of turns out to be kind of good. The only wall is right here, and it's good that you only have one wall for defending. That's less to worry about, less you have to have sieged up. So if you want a trebuchet that can hit this gate for defense from the keep, it's not going to be able to hit this wall. Because the trebuchet to hit the wall would have to be like this one right here, and hitting the gate would be kind of over here. So that's two separate trebuchets if you wanted to do that. Of course, if you want a gate treb, you can very comfortably place one here, just like that. You could even place one just like this. In fact, this is a little bit better because you want it on their screen to be tougher to see the gate treb. If you want to see what it looks like on their screen, as they get here, I'm lagging horribly right now. I got a 2-second delay. Okay, so they can kind of see. I'm a short character. They can kind of use their camera angle to see gate trebs like that and build a counter arrow cart. But anyway, that's what it looks like on their screen. There's the Lord Room. I'm gonna go back inside. Supply depot is nice and close to the wall. We're gonna look at siege locations real quick. You don't really need siege on that side because there's no wall there. Now this arrow cart is placed poorly because you can see how far forward it is. It needs to be back here. But this actually, if it was right where I'm standing, wouldn't be a bad spot because the most common catapult location, this is the only wall. They like to catapult from that tunnel there. So you can have an arrow cart here, it's as far as you can reach with the arrow cart. This ballista is here just for that purpose, but whoever made it, it's just not going to work because this has line of sight issues. If you look at, it's going to have line of sight issues with this wall. Ballistas typically don't go up top, and if when they do, they don't go like this. It has to have a different design for it to work. If you place an arrow carts up here, one great spot will be right on the back part of this thing, and use your camera and hit over here. Then another great spot, you kind of have two options. You can place it here, right in the center of this thing, which is right where I'm standing, right between these two horizontally, and fire like this. You could even place it a little bit further over. If you place it a little bit over here, it's actually easier to reach because it's not as far from this wall, but it's now on the other side of this thing, so instead of them AoEing here, they're going to have to AoE here. And they have to have the presence of mind to get off the gate and kind of go all the way to the other side of that little bridge and AoE this thing right here. But that's how that works, and then we're just going to finish it up by going to the Lord Room. You can build an arrow cart in the Lord Room right here on the center and very comfortably fire down at the gate. You can also build one more over here, although I just like it right in the center. And it can be AoE'd if a elementalist has meteor shower and they go like this. They'll be able to AoE. This is 900 range on my short bow, but at least have 1200. Then they can even go around here and AoE. But anyway, so that is Wildcreek. Right, now we're going to look at Cloven, this tower right here. This one gets 12 supply per minute when the yak makes it every time, just going back and forth like that. If you have stonemist castle, which we do, it'll continue on down to this path, which will actually reduce the supply per minute to 8. As if the yaks make it every time unupgraded, of course. So here's the first thing that makes this tower kind of poor, is you can get to this catapult spot. Usually it's more likely it'll be attacked, Cloven will be attacked from blue because it's kind of over there. Wildcreek's closer to the red side. If you're going this way and you just go up like this, that's how you get to where I am now. Or of course this way, whatever, just like that. So you can see there's walls here, and yeah, just these two walls. You can catapult from right here, and you'll be aiming, you can hit both walls at once just fine. And you're pretty far from the tower, so you can even back up a little bit if you need to. And all the siege up top, you'll be away from out of range. And you can even see the Lord Room if there's siege there too. You can even get right on the edge here, build a ballista where I am, and clear all the siege up top before going to the gate or the wall. So this right here is a big disadvantage for defending Cloven. What's good about Cloven, one thing at least, is a trebuchet right there. You can treb your own gate from the keep, and you can see it right over there, and it can very easily reach here, and you can even treb the wall with the same treb, which is also good. So here's the walls that I'm talking about that really screw over this tower, because they can build catapults. They can kill that NPC and build catapults over there, and it's very tough to reach them because of this thing right here, whatever that's called, that large rock thingy. That's a horrible name. Anyway, they can kind of build catapults along that and just fire straight this way and take down these walls pretty comfortably. Just have to reach them with an arrow cart. So you'll want to have an arrow cart like here, and then use your camera angle and try to reach the best you can. If they place it too far back, you're not going to be able to reach it. Yeah, there's no gate over here, which is pretty good for the tower. Now we're going to look at the gate and arrow cart spots. So you could place an arrow cart right here. That's a pretty good spot. Fire down there. You could also go this way, and you can place one right here and just fire the gate like that. Both of those work perfectly fine. I would not place siege in the Lord Room, even though you do get a nice angle. It's just too easy for them. The Lord Room's not that tall. It's too easy for them to AoE it like that. But anyways, that's Cloven. Right, now we're going to look at Jerrifer's tower right here, which is this tower. It gets 7 supply per minute from Galanta if the yak makes it every time unupgraded, and as they approach it, they'll almost always approach it from this side. And they hold control on the keyboard. It especially helps if they're tall. They can see siege up here, and they can see siege up over there. But I'm going to go ahead, and we're approaching the gate, and you can see the wall of the keep right there. If they have a trebuchet, like right here at this personal waypoint, then they can treb their own gate for defense. They can also treb this wall down to take the tower back if it flips. And some common siege locations will be kind of up top. This is really high up, like right here, and still fire right on the gate. They could be down here and fire on the gate. It's also common for someone to take advantage of this lengthy block and put it really far back here and fire like that. I would say if you want to fire on the gate, the best location for your arrow cart would actually be just place them over here, and you can still get your camera to work and hit them like that. The reason why you place them up here is because they're very tough to AoE. You see, meteor shower won't be able to reach this no matter what. You can even place them up here. Yet you have some area to work with. It's not just one exact pixel you have to place it on there. We're going to look at the walls now. So you see there's a wall here, and there's a wall here. So when you're trebbing your keep back, you can actually treb both walls at once. This wall will almost never be taken out. When an enemy Zerg is trying to get into your tower, they will almost never attack this wall, because if they can't get to the gate because the arrow carts, and let's say they want to switch to cap out the wall, well, this wall is so close to the gate that like those arrow carts over there can still reach the wall, and if they have a treb over there, that can still reach this wall too. So because this wall is right next to the gate, if they get repelled at the gate, they usually can't go through the wall, so they'll have to go through this wall. We'll actually take a look at it because it's quite unique. We go up to the Lord Room, there's going to be another common siege location that we're going to see. It's going to be right up here. This is really high up, so they can't AoE it with meteor shower. They can't reach it. And here's the wall, and you can see if you have an arrow cart where I am, you can still use your camera and reach all catapults over there. And you can even use your camera and reach a catapult over here. And the mortar upgrade actually just finished. This mortar, it's probably not that useful mortar. You can kind of fire it that way towards your own gate, but you'd have to have a good shot. It's a little bit tough, but actually I wanted to show you about this wall real quick. If you look at this wall, it's kind of interesting. I think I just messed it up. This is the same wall. You can go around this way and attack the wall through here. This will be the last thing about this tower. And even though you can't click on the wall from over here, you can catapult this right here, and you'll still hit the wall, because the wall right along here the 400 radius on your catapult shot will still reach it. So you can catapult right here, even though you can't click on it. You'll hit the rightmost part of the wall over there, which is a little bit to your left. And as long as you're traded for catapult mastery, I think it's mandatory, I'm not sure, the blast radius will be big enough to still damage the wall. But of course, if there's an arrow card up there, then it's not going to matter, they'll still repel you. But that's Jerrifers. Alright, now we're going to look at Aldens right here, and this one gets 7 supply per minute from Rogue's Quarry if the Goliath makes it every time unupgraded. In fact, when the enemy Zerg approaches Aldens, they'll almost always approach from at least from up here going south as opposed to going from there. So they'll get here and they can already start checking for siege. As they're approaching it, they'll notice there's a wall there, and we'll go ahead and just enter the tower and we'll take a look. So there's 2 walls here, right there and there, and a lot of commanders for whatever reason don't even know about that wall and never even attempt to hit it. But first we'll look at the gate, and you can place an arrow cart here. This will be a good spot. Use your camera angle and fire like that right on the gate. If we keep going, the second best spot for the gate would be right here for an arrow cart on the gate, and you would just fire like that. We keep going, there's a wall here, so if you want to build the arrow cart to counter catapults that are going up against this wall, you would put it right on the back of this square thing I'm standing on, or I guess it's a rectangle, and just fire like that. Very comfortably you'll repel the catapults like that. Of course, if they catapult from over there and you have a trebuchet at your keep, you can just fire the treb at them. So that's how you repel those. Now there's this wall, which we're going to take a look at. You can also, if you have trebuchets in your keep, fire at them to repel them at this wall. What I would also recommend doing, this actually has a very unique design. As you go into the Lord's room with this walk up, we're going to keep going. Sometimes people will siege this up with arrow carts and just fire it here down as people enter. The only good that'll ever do is if you have like your own Zerg coming in behind him, but that's not going to be very common. I mean, you either meet him at the gate or you're like last minute rushing in at the Lord room. But right up here is a very high spot. They cannot reach with meteor shower. In fact, this right here is all part of the tower. They can't get there unless they have the tower. So you can place an arrow cart like right here. This is out of meteor shower range because it's too high. It's not the radius, it's just too high. And you can fire down here if they try to catapult. And pretty much, so that's Aldens. There's actually 3 walls, which is very uncommon. Some towers like Cloven only have 1 wall. But yeah, so you could very comfortably treb defense from your keep and treb this tower back. And you can treb the gate for defense, which also makes this tougher to take. But that's Aldens.